we're back. Happy Saturday. This is the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce show, Minding Your Business. I'm Chris Spiker, your co-host, board operator, Kenneth Guzman.
Hey!
And co-host, Aaron Goldstein, Goldstein Digital. Aaron, who's our next guest?
Our next guest is Bruce B. Hailstone, the voice of real estate.
Good morning, Bruce.
Hello.
Hey, and I understand you've been in this studio once or twice before.
Oh, like, hundreds of times.
Now, you trained Don Imus,
That's
Charlie
funny.
Tuna?
That's funny.
That's
Not quite.
Not quite.
They were on the air back in those days.
They were on the air in those days.
That's right.
And radio was a big deal.
It was. And it has been. We've had a lot of fun with it. Matter of fact, that's where the voice of real estate comes from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, I see you at all the chamber events. I thought, we need to have you on the show.
The pleasure is mine.
So we have a conversation, we videotape, so this thing has a footprint.
Ah,
A good one.
that's good.
So,
Pleasure to be here.
real estate. So you told me you do more than sell houses. What else do you do?
Well,
What else do you sell, I should
A
say?
lot of us real estate professionals,
Yes.
realtors, what the public doesn't understand is we're kind of a source of information. An example, somebody in your family dies and they own some real estate. Probably a pretty good idea to invite a realtor in to at least talk to you and put in writing what the value was at time of death. Because if that property ever becomes an investment type property, there's oftentimes a step up in basis, and though I'm not qualified to talk about taxes and legal issues, there's a lot of reasons you're going to want to get information about what was the value when mom died.
Just a conversation
Exactly.
down on a PC or stationery.
Yeah, we oftentimes will go ahead and generate a written document on our letterhead because though we're not formal appraisers, we
Yeah.
give some serious value estimates that can be taken and used in court if necessary.
I remember, off the subject slightly, but you came over to our house on 3rd Street
Oh, I remember that.
25 years ago and sat down on the couch.
Mhm.
And I have to tell you that through the years I've called other realtors, and sometimes I don't even get a call back.
Sorry to hear that. That is sad.
You
but-
didn't make a sale that day, but you were kind enough to give me some information.
Probably 75–80% of what a realtor does is without a payday, because we are largely public service oriented, helping the public, adjusting your taxes. If you need a Proposition 13 reconsideration for reassessment, realtors will typically go above and beyond to provide the public an estimate of value based on providing the comparable sales and the like that the LA County tax assessor, or Kern County for that matter, would like to see in order to apply for the reduction of your taxation. If the values have gone down, you might be qualified for it. Why not apply?
What were the initials you told me today? CR.
CRS.
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 Not everybody gets that
Oh.
designation.
Thank you. Yes, a CRS, only 3% of realtors in America have their CRS designation. What CRS is kind of like a AA in real estate, a little minor degree in real estate. And what I love about it as an independent real estate professional, meaning I'm not with a franchise company, I love that I'm associated with CRS because they tend to be the cream of the industry, meaning they've got a load more than the average realtor does in the way of experience. They have a significant higher levels of education, and they typically sell a whole lot more real estate. So one of the questions you should always ask the realtor you're considering hiring is, are you a CRS? Are you a certified residential specialist? Because that designation says a lot about how serious you took your profession early on in order to not only obtain the education, but then to start hanging out with and the continuing education that the CRS certification, which by the way is a National Association of Realtors designation, so anybody has access to it,
Right.
but it does require that you have a certain number of years and a certain amount of volume in sales before you can even be considered a designee.
How many years?
For
you?
It's several years.
And how about for
Oh,
you?
I've had mine for over 20 years now.
Yeah, and how long do you?
Because I saw early on, this is my 34th year in real estate, And I saw early on the importance of education. And even though the state of California requires we get 40 hours every 4 years,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Wow.
a joke,
Yeah.
kind of a joke.
That's not very much.
I would typically have 200-300 hours when I would come up for license renewal. And it's because if you're serious about the industry, you
Yeah.
want to remain value added to every equation, and
Right.
the only way you do that is to be on the cutting edge of the educational aspects.
You're anticipating a lot of questions,
There you go.
and you're going to have the answer when they call instead of, let me get back to you. Oh, by then it'll be too late.
Well, that's kind of one of our monikers, real estate wisdom for hire.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
It
the
works.
CRS designation was kind of coming back to the question, how does somebody choose a realtor?
You know, that's one of the sad parts, Chris, is too many people do not take choosing their real estate professional serious. You know, they go to the yellow pages, close their eyes, and point, and lo and behold, that's the number they call to invite the realtor who answers the phone.
Dear.
Oftentimes is
Yeah.
the green guy who's brand new in the industry, who's sitting at the up desk because he wants to collect and take phone calls that might lead to some business. But that's not the best way to hire a real estate professional. You need to interview. You need to do your homework about who it is you're hiring, because that person is quite literally going to be managing the process of liquidating probably one of the most important assets you've ever invested in.
Yeah.
Your home, it could be your business, it could be your commercial properties,
Kind of
vacant
emotional.
land, all that kind of stuff. It's all serious business.
Yeah.
And you certainly want your real estate professional to be on top of their game and understand what's best for the given situation and give really good advice. Pricing alone is key. We too often see somebody will hire a family member or a best friend, and that is unfortunately one of the worst ways to go about choosing
Really?
a real estate professional. Too often, it results in losing a best friend. It alienates a family member because now they can't come back and put you back in your place and do the kinds of things that you should be doing, because there's that underlying personal relationship that isn't businesslike.
Wow. I would hope that it would be like, thank you, and then every time I see you, thank you, and boy, I'm so glad, and thank you. Doesn't always work like that.
Too often, real estate transactions become a little bit more complicated than just, bread and butter. Oftentimes, things arise that are pretty controversial, and oftentimes a buyer wants the seller to do something that the seller's not comfortable with, or do something behind the scenes out of sight of the lender, for instance. And it's real easy to get yourself into trouble
Wow.
if you're not taking proper advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there is a complication, are you going to sue your sister-in-law? No, you're not going to do that.
You're going to take your lumps.
Ooh, it's
But-
sad, but that's part of the problem with hiring family and friends as opposed to interviewing and hiring a true professional who's on their game and understands what the circumstances are. They can be fired
Yeah.
if they need to be because
So-
they're not doing their job.
Maybe in this one sale, you should go ahead and refer someone else because you'd like to keep your family relationship.
Hey, I'm a firm believer. If I've got a dear friend, family member, or somebody who's coming to me for information, I won't take that listing. I had a next door neighbor who wanted me to assist him with a home. I do not want to come home every day and talk real estate when I'm coming home to see my family.
Hey, Bruce, we got a sprinkler head out in the back. Can you, yeah.
Somebody left my door unlocked, the back slider door unlocked, and now you never get away from your
If you hadn't been doing this for 34 years, you wouldn't know that.
That's correct.
You'd just
That
go,
is
hey,
correct.
another piece of business.
Exactly.
So you mentioned residential, you also do commercial,
Yes.
vacant land,
Yes.
and property management.
Actually, I sold my property management
Really?
division about 3 years ago, and it was one of the best things I've ever
No,
done.
you can't tell me that's the last time we had a conversation.
No, but we were having a blast doing it, and we did it very well. The problem was I was working way too hard, 80-plus hours a week, and I found at the end of every month, after everybody else got paid, all the bills got paid, I didn't get paid. And I was working way too hard
Yeah.
for that as an outcome.
So that's half your job. That's why you're so mellow and easygoing now.
The stress level went way down. And now I still give good property management advice. I
Right.
refer people all the time. But because I sold that business, I signed a do not non-compete agreement.
Good for you.
So I'm doing sales, and I love commercial and land. Residential is a specialty. It's the bread and butter in the industry. That's a favorite because there's so many nuances about it. But it is an art.
Are there any houses you've sold more than one time?
Oh, many, many, many. Matter of fact, it's funny when I'm out driving around town because I look up and if I've got somebody in a car, I say, "Yep, I sold that one last year. Oh, that one I sold 3 times over the past decade." Those kinds of things happen often.
I wonder if that room is still yellow. What do you think they do with the kitchen?
Yeah, really.
So how do people, we've got just a few seconds here, how do people find you?
Oh, they're welcome to give me a call. Our phone number is 661-948-1902. That's the year before the Wright brothers flew, right?
Right.
That's our phone number, and we're online at hailrock.com, www.hailrock.com.
Bruce B. Hailstone, the voice of real estate. Your office there at 50th and L.
Been there for 20 plus years.
And the next time we talk, we'll talk a little bit about Toastmasters. 'Cause,
Ooh, a
that's
favorite
a
subject.
love of yours.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on our show this morning.
Oh, Chris, as always, what a pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.